because literally you can't predict anything. Where it leaves the main character is, in a way, optimistically, believing that if anything can happen, then he might be able to achieve this impossible dream of winning the hand of a famous television presenter.
I don't think there's anybody out there doing that with me, but nevertheless, I mean, your main character is a man whose brain has been literally addled by television.
By terrible television.
By terrible television, who lives in a world where men who play presidents on television can become the president.
Yes.
And very pointedly, where information is more often fool's gold than golden. I mean, there's comedy in all of this, but it's dark too, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there is a very dark aspect of this, and we all know how that's playing out all around the world. But I wanted the book to have a quality of lightness. Comedy is a wonderful way of dealing with the absurdity of the present.
And yet, you're talking about pretty serious issues. You talk about, or the book touches a lot on racism, both in America, and actually touches on it in a couple of lines here too.
Yes, but Indian Americans are beginning now to be affected by it too, because of, American inability to distinguish between brown skins. So, a Sikh man wearing a turban is accused of being an Islamic terrorist, etc. So I wanted some of that to be there. Some of that, so the characters as they move through America meet some pretty reprehensible individuals.
And without doubt, he's never mentioned, but President Trump hangs over it all.
Yeah, but he's not there. He's not there. He's a ghostly absence, which is what I wanted him to be. Because I do think, actually, that the reality of America is not really his creation. I mean, in a way, he's its creation. That kind of division in the country, those racial issues, etc., were there before him. I mean, he's very good at stirring them up, but they were there before him and they will be there after him.
There's a brief but quite ugly description of England, very specifically, a country broken itself, suffering a wild nostalgia for a golden age where all attitudes were Anglo-Saxon and all English skins were white.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be many Brexit voters who take real issue with that.
Well, I hope they buy the book and take issue with it. That's fine by me. I mean, I don't expect everybody to agree with me, but I do think that this is a calamity. I mean, I've always said that from the beginning. And I think in a funny way, that these three countries that I've spent my life writing about and caring about, India and England and America, are going through a similar kind of upheaval. Narendra Modi, Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, they're not the same, but they, in many ways, echo each other.
I mean, you warned about Narendra Modi, he'd be a bullying prime minister, and you questioned whether a period in office would moderate him in any way. I mean, there's no sign of that,
No sign of it. The opposite, really. It's, I think, unleashed.
Perhaps the most audacious, or one of his most audacious moves, of course, is what's happening in Kashmir.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
And dangerous?
I mean, we'll see, but I think it's probable that it will create long-term discord and violence. I think it's a rash and dangerous move. India always prides itself on being the world's largest democracy, and well, it's not behaving like one right now.
And Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has criticised it, saying the world's eye is on Kashmir. Yeah. Do you get any sense that Prime Minister Modi is at all worried about the world and what it might do?
I don't think so, because why should he? The world isn't going to do anything. The world never has really taken a keen interest in the Kashmir issue.
And that disappoints you?
Yeah, I mean, my family is originally Kashmiri, so I care about it.
And in terms of looking ahead to the future, if this is the age where anything can happen, I mean, what's your prediction for what does happen?
I'm very bad at predicting. I'm not a prophet. I mean, I've had some trouble with prophets in my time, not applying for the job.
Well, quite. How has life changed for you? I know you don't want to rake over the fatwa, but how has life changed?
Well, I mean, it's, it really is a long time ago is the answer. I mean, it started 30 years ago. It ended 20 years ago.
And you talk in the book, again, could not be more current about the opioid crisis. Yeah. What do you make of how that has come about? Really incredibly strong drugs, technically for people who are dying of terminal illnesses, yet people using them to blot out
I mean, I have a personal connection to it, which is that my youngest sister died young at the age of 45, and it was clear that, I mean, I didn't know, but a kind of advanced opioid addiction was probably the cause of it. I mean, you know, if you have something as important as the death of a sister happened to you, it becomes personal.
And she was much younger than
she was 14 years younger than me, yes, and she was only 45.
You've said in the past that fame for you or for lots of other people is perhaps the biggest drug of all.
Yeah, somebody says it in the book, actually.
I just wonder whether you're long-listed for the Booker Prize. Do those things still matter?
Oh, yeah. I mean, winning is better than not winning. I mean, my main thing is, when I think any writer would say this, is that you want your book to find its readers. You know, you want people who would like the book to find their way towards it. And anything that helps that, I'm for it.
And I take it you still love writing.
Yeah, I mean, what else would I do? I don't have a plan B, so I may as well stick with this one.
Sir Salman Rushdie, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.